Before we start the video, I have created a community Discord for old school Runescape players and everyone is more than welcome to join us. We have weekly events, giveaways and we do bossing together, so if you want to join more than 500 old school Runescape players to have a chat and hang around or just chill with me, the link is in the description. Okay, let's start the video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is the guy that is single-handedly keeping the seed prices valuable, and today I'm here to talk to you about the future of old school Runescape. You see, for over a year we had this interesting concept in this game called Game Jam, where the developers of this game can have 1 week of freedom to do projects that they are passionate about. And if we're lucky, these projects will also be part of the game in the near future. Some of the things in the past iterations of Game Jam that have entered old school Runescape are upgrades to Last Man Standing, a new quest called Garden of Death, which is gonna be the prequel to Desert Treasure 2 in the summer. On top of that, we just got new hairstyles, which were a Game Jam project in November 2022, and we have confirmed a few passion projects that are definitely coming in the near future, like the forestry minigame for woodcutting and new temporary and seasonal high scores. And on top of that, we're most likely gonna get so many more Game Jam ideas coming to life during this summer summit, which will happen in the upcoming months. So as you can see, there's a lot of ideas that have come to life, and lucky for us, last week already the third iteration of Game Jam happened. So let's go over all the projects that old school Runescape developers were working on and what can we potentially expect to see in the game. Number 1, let's start with the love child of old school Runescape, Slayer. I swear to God, this skill gets more love than I've ever gotten from my parents, and this time it's no different. Mod Halo and Mod Rock wanna bring a completely new system to the Slayer skill, which includes new rewards and the return of Partner Slayer, where 2 or more players can complete the same Slayer task at the same time and both of them gain the experience, so you and your friends can go train Slayer together. They even announced new Slayer Masters who are gonna be known as the Council, and most likely they are only gonna assign Slayer tasks for the groups rather than individual players. The rewards are gonna include new potion that extends the aggression of NPCs towards you, but this only works on Slayer tasks. Currently, the hostility mechanic works for maximum of 10 minutes and then the monsters become passive towards the player unless you move out of the NPC aggression zone and come back. Then the timer resets. This potion will allow you to most likely extend that timer to get more AFK training or in multi-combat areas get more experience over time. On top of that, they wanna add raids as a Slayer task, which is gonna be capped at 1 completion and you have a free skip if you don't like doing raids. Also, they mentioned that Slayer helmets will not work inside the raids, so keep that in mind. For other rewards, they're thinking of adding Slayer cosmetics like the Hydra Dragon Hunter crossbow, which I must say looks extremely clean. Good job Mod Skylark with the artwork. And things like Slayer team teleports and animations, abilities to use any weapons on turrets and Kurasks, ability to combine silver bracelets together to either extend or shorten your tasks, and so much more. Overall, I give this idea a solid 8 out of 10. Like I said, Slayer updates are always welcomed in the game no matter what. It's the most beloved skill, and truth be told, I would love to be on a Slayer task while doing Raids 3 with my friends. That sounds awesome. Next up, we have graceful skilling outfits. Yes, you heard that right. As many of you know, graceful outfits have basically taken over old school Runescape. Whenever you have any sort of running in the game, you have to wear this outfit. Otherwise, you're just gonna be missing out on so much utility. And as it turns out, over the past years, we've also accumulated a lot of skilling outfits. Currently, there are 11 skilling outfits in old school Runescape for almost all the skills available. And since they fill out all the same equipment spaces, which means you can't wear the graceful outfit you need for utility and the skilling outfit that you need for experience at the same time. To fix that, Modture has thought of an idea to combine the 2 outfits into one single outfit. Personally, I will give this idea 4 out of 10, and here's why. We already have 11 graceful recoloring sets, and adding another 10 sets on top of that would be firstly an immense work to do, and secondly wouldn't add much to the game. Don't get me wrong, I like the idea itself, but the execution is lacking here. I feel like players don't like wearing graceful sets every time they need to wear the skilling outfit, and having it as a passive effect could be much more beneficial here. Skilling outfits in general need more depth, and adding graceful inside the outfit is the opposite of that. One player in Reddit had actually a really good idea, which was to make the outfit as a blessing that you can wear on your ammo space, allowing players to roll out the fashion scape during skilling. And for players who still prefer the graceful, they have that option available to them as well. How it would work is that you need the scaling outfit, that blessing and some money to pay for the NPC, and you can only activate one set at a time. Overall, the idea of Graceful everywhere has completely gone out of control, and I think the healthy thing here will be to steer on the opposite direction of that. Here's a fun little idea. I just reached 19,000 subscribers today and I'm so close to 20,000. So if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing as it helps me out immensely. Thank you so much. Next up, we have a completely new mechanic that funnily enough was somewhat a feature in Runescape back in 2001, where all players had fatigue attached to their characters, and the only way to get rid of that was to rest either in bars around Killenor or sleeping bags. Well, this is kinda like that, except the fatigue part. Mod Lenny came up with an idea where you can spend a small amount of coins after talking to any bartender in Oldschool Runescape and rent a room for the night. After a small animation, it will restore all your prayer and hit points. This would firstly make bars and inns actually useful in the game, and secondly will give new players an opportunity to restore their stats, because as it currently stands, there are mostly two options for that: inside your own player-owned house or Ferox Enclave, and resting at inns will give a third option without undermining the other two. Restoring stats at BOH and Ferox Enclave is still gonna be faster, but if you don't have those options, this will also work. I give this idea 9 out of 10. I think it will be an excellent mechanic for newer players, and it opens up a lot of different possibilities when building Snowflake accounts that are locked in certain areas. Not to mention, like I stated before, it makes all the bars and inns in Killenor extremely useful. This is a great update. Next up, we have a new free-to-play boss that might come to Oldschool Runescape very soon. The idea of the boss is to add customizable difficulty, which introduces new players to basic PvM mechanics, like your movement and switching gear and prayers. The best way I can describe this boss is a three-tailed rat that is attached to each other, and all versions of the beast use different styles of combat. Blue one is magic, green one is ranged, and red is melee. It will be an introduction to all players who wanna get into PvM but don't know where to start. This boss would only teach the basics of everything, so if you still wanna do raids right afterwards, there's still a very steep learning curve. I give this idea a 7 out of 10 only because there's not much more information on the boss or the mechanics or even the rewards yet, but I like the idea itself very much. Getting more people into PvMing is only positive in my eyes. We already have free-to-play bosses like Obor and Braya, but they have very limited mechanics and only work with one combat style, so this could potentially be a good change of pace. Next in line is Hunter skill expansion with new animals that might come to Oldschool Runescape. First of all, I mean, look at this animation, it is so adorable. Somehow it manages to even melt my gold black hearts. Yes, we might get capybaras in Oldschool Runescape, which sounds honestly amazing. And not only that, we might get many more new hunter creatures with new pets and new rewards. The idea is that you learn about these new creatures through tracking, and there's gonna be a new NPC called the Huntmaster Alepi who's gonna assign tasks for you to complete. Once you complete the hunt, you either get points like you do with Slayer tasks, or you get a chance for new pets or even new hunter rewards. The idea here is to extend hunter beyond just Chinchompas and herbivore, and allow players to hunt more variety of creatures to gain experience in different ways. I love this idea. I give it 8 out of 10 for the idea itself and 10 out of 10 for the capybara pets. Hunter is in desperate need for an update because as it stands today, it doesn't have much depth, and the idea of having animals like frogs, foxes, wolves, hedgehogs, raccoons, aka trash pandas sounds awesome, to be honest. This could also maybe come as a big animal update with the dogs of Killenor, which was a game jam idea exactly 1 year ago. So yes, I am excited for this because more animals, more pets, always gonna be fun to see. Okay, this is gonna be short and simple. Back in 2007, where this version of Oldschool Runescape came out, we had a lot of new quests. In fact, the year after, I would say we got some of the best quests in this game, like Wild Gothic Sleeps, Summer's End, to introduce Corporeal Beast, continuation to Tsar City, and so much more. Well, Mod Ed, Jagex's main quest guy, has been working on porting over quests from the archives, and currently there are 2 new quests which might come to Oldschool Runescape. Those quests are Path of Glowfree and Temple at Sentistan, both of which are iconic quests in the original game. And on top of that, we might even get more quests from the OG days. The point is that it's safe to say this is a great update, so as long as those quests give agility experience, which means I don't have to train it myself. And to end the video off, we have a Game Jam project that funnily enough has been worked on for all 3 iterations of Game Jam. Jagex has been wanting to expand the wilderness for years now, but so far they only been ideas. And we're back again. We started this a year ago where the idea was to expand wilderness even deeper with new bosses, new quests, new areas, and new rewards to discover. And since then, the Jagex moderators have been building on top of it. About 6 months ago, in the second iteration of Game Jam, we saw more fleshed out dots expanding on top of the previous ones. And between that time and now, we actually did get updated wilderness bosses, which, despite being heavily abused currently by botting systems, is actually quite fun. In fact, it's been so fun that I actually got a bet from Venenadis yesterday. Yay me! And now we have the third iteration of the same project, but this time Jagex wanted to focus more on the overall picture and fixing the mistakes like changes to Scorpia and Chaos Elemental bosses, and to make it more interactive. Maybe add in wilderness only glue scrolls that can be obtained through Wilderness Slayer, a new moneymaker through Agility Course, and a thieving rework at the Rogue's Den in the wilderness. All I'm gonna say is that I'm keeping my hopes up. I know majority of players don't like PvP or the wilderness. In fact, I made a small poll on my channel asking my viewers which playstyle they prefer, and only 6% of the players enjoy PvP, which doesn't honestly surprise me as I get it. Wilderness isn't the most popular thing, but as someone who was also putting it off for years, I thoroughly enjoy doing wildy bosses and sometimes going PKing with my friends, so I would highly recommend giving this your 2 seconds of thought, because it might actually be pretty awesome. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And that's pretty much it. There's also the idea of Completionist Cape, which I don't like to see at all. Completionist idea ruined the balance of the game in the future like we seen with RS3, and that's pretty much it. So what do you think? Which of these ideas are your favorite? Which are your least favorite? Let me know down in the comments, but for now, I thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again in a few days with another one. I love you all. Bye.